Excelsior!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Excelsior. This is episode 10, double digits now.
Hell yeah.
I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley. Joining me this week is Jack Martin.
Good to be here.
Talking Thor Ragnarok today.
Sure are.
Should
Quite a
say
good one.
we're doing this a day earlier than we normally do, so we do have news, but
We'll get to that.
if Thanos shows up in New York City for real tomorrow, sorry, we weren't there. But Pat Maroney,
Hi,
you're here.
I'm here too.
You're making it happen on the mixer.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You're buddy with Thanos in your Twitter profile picture.
That's such a dope Photoshop you made. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem. Episode 10. We are very close to Endgame now.
We're very close to the end game.
We are.
Next week we'll be in the end game.
Lots of news, lots of Entertainment Weekly coverage, lots of new clips, lots of headshots and magazine covers.
Right?
I'm not looking at any of those.
No, yeah, I haven't either.
It feels like when ABC Family, Freeform now, or the Hallmark Channel starts doing Christmas movies. It's that weird festive scene where they're showing up in all these interviews together or doing Jimmy Kimmel skits.
Yeah.
And it's making it so much harder for me to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't even watch late night appearances.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
They've been pretty good.
I'm
All
sure
right.
they have been.
So we do have some news to discuss this week, but before we get into that, as always, we're going to pick a name from this crayon box right here, the crayon box of Marvel characters, where we pick a character, folded, anonymous characters, I guess. We have a minute to cast this character. We each defend our choice. Pat casts the character. And then we add to the roster of Marvel characters in the MCU right now. In a little game we call Cast Me Baby one more time. So who are we casting this week?
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey.
Do you have one?
Week one. We had to cast Mystique.
Yeah.
I blanked on everybody I could think of, and I chose Saoirse Ronan.
Oh,
That was my
good
Jean Grey
one.
choice. I
No,
didn't
you
get
don't
it
know.
though, because Beyonce.
Yeah, come on, man.
Beyonce was chosen. So
For some reason.
yeah. So is it cool if I pitch Saoirse Ronan? Even
I don't
though I've
care,
already
yeah,
done it before?
you
Is
can do
that allowed? Referee?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need me to wait for a second to start on so you can time a full minute? I
Yeah.
got a timer going if you trust me.
3, 2, 1, go.
So Saoirse Ronan, we saw her in Lady Bird. I think she's in her mid to late 20s, but she can pull off the relatable teenager immensely well. In Lady Bird, she was very dramatic. She was very expressive. She was unique. And I think that is an aspect that needs to be present in Jean Grey, especially if we want to start the X-Men being younger. I personally think the X-Men should start out as young people, and then as the franchise goes on, then they age into the role, instead of what we saw with the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, where it was James Marsden is almost 30 and he's playing Scott Summers, and Famke Janssen is probably around the same age range playing Jean Grey. So I think if we see the character begin at a young age, and we saw Saoirse Ronan is great at that young portrayal, then age into it, it adds to the character.
5 seconds.
She had pink hair. It's almost red.
Okay. All right.
It's pretty good.
That was a good little ad note. All right.
So I think Saoirse Ronan's probably the right choice on this one, but I'm still going to pitch mine.
All right.
And it's Emma Watson. Emma Watson has yet to appear in the MCU. So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking for a Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking for someone who is somewhat young, who can put on this anger that Jean Grey desires, so every so once in a while, and can really hold her own against a cast mostly of men, I would say. And we have that with Emma Watson, particularly from Harry Potter. I think Emma Watson would be great in this role. The reason I chose her is because I had a list of actors that I like, and she happened to be on that. And I think she'd be okay in this role.
She's talented.
She's talented, and she is yet to be in the MCU. I really have no good argument for Emma Watson. So
You tried.
yeah, that's it.
That's good because you have 5 seconds. So
Yeah. That's
that
all.
it?
Yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
That's kind of a no-brainer.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Sophie Turner as her, though.
I don't. I hate Sophie Turner.
Oh, yeah,
everything
you
she's
brought
in.
that up before, right?
She's awful. I think she's such a terrible actress.
Look out for a Dark Phoenix review that may or may not happen. So that wraps up the casting game. Moving on, though, we're talking about the end game. We got follow-up on the whole pre-sale ticket numbers, income from said tickets. According to Forbes, Avengers Endgame's opening weekend, 3 days. The box office projection is said to be $900 million globally. So that is insane. A lot of people will bring up that pre-sale tickets don't necessarily reflect opening weekend ticket sales and box office. I don't know, like, I haven't seen that said from anybody who's like official. I've seen that from film enthusiasts, but like I would imagine that most of the people who bought ticket sales already, and we talked about that last week, I would assume most of those are for opening weekend.
I would think so. Like, wouldn't those be counted in opening weekend sales?
I don't know. I don't, like, if it's, because like technically if you're pre-purchasing a ticket for like the week after the movie comes out, and I know there's only a certain number of days past like when you're ordering you can get it.
Right.
So I guess that wouldn't count towards the opening weekend, even though you are giving your money already, because technically the date isn't opening weekend.
Right.
Because I believe for all these records and stuff like that, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when they count it. Sometimes they count Thursday.
Now we're doing Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday usually has its own stat now for like the Thursday night showing.
I see.
It had this record. So the report also claims that its U.S. box office opening weekend can be north of $300 million. And as of right now, the biggest opening weekend in a single territory, so just counting one country, is Avengers Infinity War, which made $257.7 million.
This will definitely surpass that.
Yeah. And
just in the idea of sequels doing better than their predecessors.
Yeah. And we talked about this last week too, about like speculating how far Endgame could go with its box office.
Yeah.
Like, it's so strange to me because a year ago, I think, I wasn't expecting Endgame to make as much as Infinity War did. I don't know if it was because like people saw Infinity War and the lasting impression was like, oh, well, it's all going to be fixed in the next one.
Right.
Or like, oh, I thought this was supposed to be the last one, you know? So fresh out of Infinity War, I was like, maybe Endgame is just going to be like the hardcore fans that stick around for it, you know? Because like so many people went into Endgame thinking it was the end. Sorry, into Infinity War thinking it was the end, seeing what happened to those characters and being like, dang, maybe they get a new movie in like 10 years or something.
I think the hype around this one is just so intense.
It's so strange, though, because I feel like there's almost no marketing.
There is no marketing, but I think that's the point.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's so interesting to me.
Yeah, and like you almost never get that with big movies like this. I mean, like there is marketing. Like I think we just don't pay attention to it, but like it's not as like grandiose as other movies.
Yeah.
Like I've seen more marketing for Shazam than I have for this movie.
I feel like I saw more marketing for Infinity War too.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Like they're being very reserved with Endgame. Like it's a lot of posters, it's a lot of interviews, it's a lot of I think I've only seen one TV spot, and that was the Super Bowl one.
Oh, right. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Actually.
And I've only seen a handful of other things officially released since then. Like the trailers, I think they released a scene this past week. I didn't watch it.
No, thank you.
But it was like
I will not watch that.
From context of like what I heard about it, it's probably like the scene that follows the scene at the end of Captain Marvel.
I watched it.
Yeah, that's what it's around that area.
That's what
right?
it was. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, wild that it's making that much money.
I'm still thinking it's going to be number one of all time.
All time.
I think so.
I feel like this is like one of those things you only get to see once every 10 or so years. Like the hype around a movie like this. I can't think like the last time I felt this way about a movie.
Yeah. So last week we did talk about if it could topple Avatar, and I did a little bit more research into that how that whole thing shook out. So Avatar came out at pretty much a perfect time because it came out in the holiday of 2009.
Yep.
And it was in theaters with like no other competition, no other major movie until May of 2010.
Wow.
Almost half a year in theaters.
It stayed in theaters.
It stayed in theaters.
Wow.
And that is why it made that much money.
Was Avatar, I don't know if this is just conjecture, but was Avatar the movie, one of the movies that helped raise the prices of tickets? I know people always say that.
Maybe it might have just been inflation.
Okay.
I don't know.
Also, a lot of people saw that in 3D.
They did, and that was slightly more expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the math works with box office numbers and like if they account for the fact that this was an IMAX screening, that was a matinee, that was this. I don't know if that makes a difference. I assume it wouldn't, since it's all just going towards the same bank account.
Right.
But yeah, if Avengers Endgame can topple Avatar and have a normal theater lifespan, that would be insanely impressive.
Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up, that it was in theaters for that long. Endgame will be in theaters for a little bit when Spider-Man comes out. Yeah. Because Spider-Man comes out in July, but there will be that brief period where there's an overlap.
I bet Endgame lasts until, I bet the last showing you can probably find for Endgame in a chain is going to be, so it comes out April, May, June, July. I'll say early August.
I think so too.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it'll last like just before the end of the summer.
Because most movies I feel like only last 2 to 3 months.
Yep.
And then there's like a weird gap between when it leaves theaters and then when it comes out on digital or DVD.
Right.
So that'd be something.
Yeah, definitely.
I found out, and also another interesting fact about tradition, because we're talking about Endgame. We're talking about the conclusion of a lot of things. This is a fun, neat little statistic. Well, not really a statistic, more of a fact that I found. Avengers Endgame will be the first film in the Avengers series to not release the same year as a Hotel Transylvania film.
What?
So the originals, both of those series began in 2012.
Okay.
Their sequels, Age of Ultron and Hotel Transylvania 2, came out in 2015. And Infinity War and Hotel Transylvania 3,
wow,
Summer Vacation, both came out in 2018.
I appreciate that really dumb fact. That's just very, what, is it DreamWorks who owns Hotel Transylvania?
All I know is Adam Sandler is involved.
No.
He's Dracula.
No, that's really unfortunate.
Well, yeah, that's something.
Yeah, that is definitely something.
I found it on IMDb.
That's funny. It's actually really funny.
Yeah. So.
Wonder what that means. Perhaps a crossover between Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, they got snapped. That's why there's no movie being released.
It's true.
Well,
Good
Infinity War and Endgame were shot back to back. So that's probably why. Well, that is why the year follow-up Avengers release was able to happen like that. Animated films usually take a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps Hotel Transylvania 4 might be able to release alongside Avengers 5. Because
why is that?
Phase 4, which begins after Avengers Endgame, may last up to 5 years.
Wow.
According to Kevin Feige.
What's the longest phase has lasted before?
I think Phase 3.
2008 to 12?
I think Phase 3.
When did that start? That was after...
Phase 3 was the beginning. It began with Civil War. That was 2016.
So it was after Ant-Man.
And it's ending 2019. Actually, no, Phase 1, you're right. Because they weren't
2008 to 2012.
They weren't as consistent with releases then.
Yeah, we're getting like 3 a year nowadays.
Yeah.
And like it was 1 a year pretty much leading up to the first.
Well, there were...
First Avengers.
I think, 2008...
Actually, 2008 was Hulk and Iron Man.
And then 2010
was
Iron just
Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
Yep, 2011 was
Cap
both.
and Thor.
Right, yeah, okay.
So yeah, I think you're right. Phase 1 was Phase 1 was probably the longest then. Right. So
interesting.
Yeah, I have more information
okay.
about this whole deal. This is from IO9, an interview with Kevin Feige. Quote, "It'll be a while. It's all just beginning, and the 5-year plan that we've been working on, we were working on before any of that was set." Sorry, this was in reference to a question about the X-Men as well.
I see.
So I'll start over. "It'll be a while. It's all just beginning in the 5-year plan that we've been working on. We were working on before any of that was set. So really, it's much more for us, less about specifics of when and where the X-Men will appear right now, and more of just the comfort factor that it's nice that they're home, that they're all back, but it will be a very long time." So what do you think of that?
Being a long turnaround.
Yeah, so the X-Men the final 2 Fox X-Men films are this year.
Right.
So Kevin Feige, I feel like, personally, I want to hear your take, but I think that's probably the smart move because, yeah, it's hype that they got the X-Men now, but you do have an X-Men branded film this year and then a Fox X-Men universe film this year.
Yeah.
Both releasing in theaters. And I feel like that's like a layer of confusion, you know?
It's pretty confusing.
Because, I mean, I'll never forget this. One time in high school, this was before, probably like a month before, or it was around Age of Ultron before it came out. And they were like, yo, I heard Batman's going to be in Avengers 2.
No.
And I felt so bad. I didn't want to be like, you're wrong. So I was just like, oh, that's cool.
Don't be dumb. That's my advice for the kids out there. Don't be dumb.
So, yeah, I mean,
Don't
like,
say stuff like that.
That's just showing that, like, general audiences,
Yeah.
like, even more so, like, we think general audiences are like, oh, yeah, they won't buy comics. General audiences might not know that Batman is not Marvel.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
I think it is pretty confusing for people like that. So I would, even for myself, I'd kind of prefer like a year or two away from the X-Men. And I imagine they're going to introduce them in end credits, like slowly.
I think so,
surely.
too. There's also rumors that or more so speculation than rumors, that the X-Men could be introduced individually through Disney Plus series, like short limited series, and then they meet up as a team up in a X-Men film.
That'd be fascinating because we have not seen something from the small screen come up on the big screen yet. But I imagine that will change.
Well,
yeah.
We've seen Coulson had his whole, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Right,
yeah,
but
but that
came
was
down.
from...
He came from, it's
Yeah.
kind of a reverse. But
Yeah.
So Disney Plus does seem to be a premier service, which there's a story about that later on
Hell
the show.
yeah, there is.
So, yeah, it'd be fascinating and unprecedented, I feel like, if they start planting the seeds. Like, say, 2020 Disney Plus, the lineup.
Right.
You got season 2 of Loki. You got Scarlet Witch and Vision next year. And then fall next year, Wolverine. Like 6-episode show, new Wolverine actor, introduce him, show him going through like a different decade each episode. And then maybe 2024, 25, X-Men. And you see that Wolverine in that X-Men movie.
That'd be
setting it up like that, again, that would just be Marvel trailblazing, you know, as they have already. So I'm really fascinated to see how that shakes out. I think it was probably a good idea, like we said, to avoid confusion, and because they already have the follow-up like mindset of where Endgame leaves off. They already have it planned out for like Spider-Man is going to set this up for this universe now.
Right.
Then we're going to touch on Black Widow. Then Doctor Strange 2, maybe that introduces a new threat.
Yeah. They definitely have X-Men in their minds, though, you would say.
Yeah, I think
even like in Endgame.
Yeah, that's probably accurate based on what Kevin Feige said, that like he's comforted that he has them in his back pocket now. But unlikely we'll see them anytime soon. So what I would love to see, though, is because again, he didn't make a reference to this. He just made a reference to X-Men. Fantastic Four, specifically Victor Von Doom.
That'd be cool.
Set him up as the next Thanos.
I think he's the next big baddie.
I would love it.
I wouldn't know who else it would be.
I think it would be really interesting. Hypothetical here. Say the next 3 Avengers movies. It's building around Doom being the next villain.
Yeah.
And then by the time we get to our next Infinity War, so like Avengers 6, right? No, it would be Avengers 7 by then.
Okay.
Again, assuming we get that far.
Yeah. 2030.
Yeah.
Damn.
Doom shows up, right? Doom is the main villain. Doom is the Thanos of the conclusion of the trilogy. It ends. It's like, oh, Galactus was really the big problem. And Doom.
Fast forward to 2050.
No. I mean, like, so the follow-up, so like Avengers 7 Part 2.
Yeah.
So, like, say, for a better way to explain it, say at the end of Infinity War, it was like, oh, Thanos wasn't the big guy we got to like worry about. Like, yeah, he was a threat, but there's something worse. So Thanos has to help us.
Oh, that's happened in the comics.
Yeah, Doom has done that in the comics. Doom has been specifically this wasn't a comic, but Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah.
That story is about Doom trying to summon Galactus to like get his power or something. And at the end of the game, spoilers for a Lego game, Galactus shows up and they're like, yeah, Doom, you screwed up, so you got to help us. So I feel like that'd be an interesting take.
Yeah.
Do something cool.
That'd be cool.
Also, Fantastic Four, I would like to see done interesting.
Done well.
Done interesting.
Done well.
Yeah.
I could totally see Doom being like kind of like an Ultron like villain, like
Yeah.
a huge threat in that middle territory.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then like we think he's the big guy for the longest time, and then switcheroo.
Yeah. I could see that.
I feel like that'd be fun.
Cool.
By the way, there is a Civil War II comics line that
There
I've
is.
read,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty much got everybody that's in the MCU right now, except like Captain America's evil and Miles Morales. But aside from that,
Mm.
there's potential there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's something. I'm so fascinated with what's next for MCU.
I know it's gonna get real weird,
It is
I
gonna
like
get
that.
weird.
and I like that.
You know what else is gonna be weird?
What's that?
The Eternals, because we've talked about that thing a few times
Yeah,
at
we
this
talked about it a
point.
few times.
We have an update. We talked about Angelina Jolie potentially joining the Eternals, joining the Marvel Universe. So people are saying that's pretty much fact.
Cool.
Hollywood Reporter and many other sources are saying that Angelina Jolie is not playing the human archaeologist that we assumed she was based on those casting sheets and casting rumors. It's apparently being corroborated that she's playing Sersi, Sersi, a 5,000-plus-year-old Eternal.
Game of Thrones.
This is from Marvel's website. I did a little wiki search, and I was like, oh, Marvel has an official page. I'll check that out. 5,000-year-old Eternal, ties to the world of ancient Greece. She has friendships and relationships with many historical figures, including Merlin of Camelot, Nero during his time in Rome as the emperor. And more recently, in a recent run of the Eternals, Sersi chose to be a pacifist and lives on Earth as an entertainer and movie star. But she's one of the main characters of the Eternals.
Okay. Interesting.
I have no idea what the approach of that film is going to be.
I have no clue. That's like it's exactly like the Guardians for me. I've said this before, but no one knows who the Eternals are, myself included, and they're gonna have to make them a household name, which they've done before. So
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if they do it again.
Rocket Raccoon and Groot.
Yep.
You got little like dog toys of them now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like
How
that.
could you ever think a talking tree and a talking raccoon
Yeah.
could ever be like main stars of
Profitable.
yeah, but here we are.
Yeah, and also worth mentioning, Kumail Nanjiani was also cast in the Eternals.
Okay.
No clue on who he's playing. And another thing that I've seen in a lot of reading about the Eternals, I do still want to read Jack Kirby's run. I'm going to get to that at some point. But Angelina Jolie's character, Sersi, has a history and a focus of the arc of the Eternals is about her relationship with her lover, Icarus. Not the Icarus of like...
Flew too close to the
Yeah,
sun.
not him.
Okay.
It's Ikarus. I think it's like an Egyptian sort of god, maybe. Could be wrong on that. But yeah, I really have no idea what the approach they're going to take for this is, because we're hearing things of like, oh, it's going to be like a Greek epic. It's going to be this universe-long spanning story of these characters. Maybe it's about a war. Maybe it's about religion. Maybe it's just about Angelina Jolie and her lover across different time periods. Like, no idea.
Yeah, I have no clue. Absolutely no clue about the Eternals. Anything what's it about? Like a little bit, but
yeah.
Well, that's what, years away? You think that's a Phase 4 movie?
Yeah, it's Phase 4.
Okay.
I don't know when it's shooting, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came out before 2021.
You think it's a 2020 movie?
No, like 2021.
Yeah.
Like in the 2020s.
in
Yeah.
2021. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely fascinated to see that.
Because it definitely sounds weird and out there.
Yes. And so far, that seems to be the best kind of Marvel.
Yeah, well, I do think stuff like Winter Soldier or Spider-Man: Homecoming that's more like on the ground floor can be entertaining, and some of my favorites actually.
Me too.
We do have news
Yeah.
about another thing that's ground level in the streets.
Yeah.
Not Daredevil, sadly.
No, sorry.
Hawkeye.
Yes.
Hawkeye's getting his own show.
I like this.
Hawkeye's getting a short, limited series. I have a quote from Variety. Variety has learned from sources that Disney's upcoming streaming service is officially developing a limited series based on the archery ace Marvel character with Jeremy Renner attached to star. The project is set to be an adventure series in which Clint Barton, a.k.a. Hawkeye, will pass the torch to Kate Bishop. Do you know who Kate Bishop is?
Not a clue.
She's cool. She's very cool. She is Hawkeye's successor. She is the co-star, I'd say, and one of the shining pieces of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run, which I've been meaning to read forever.
Okay.
It's 4 volumes on sale for $4 each right now in Comixology. Kind of want to get them all. But, yeah, this is what we're getting.
Well done, Jeremy Renner. He really just did not get the love he deserved, I feel, in the MCU.
Yeah, I like him.
I like him a whole lot. Never got a movie for him. That's fine. He was he first appeared in Thor.
He did.
And he was uncredited in the role.
Really?
Yeah, I read that.
I didn't know that.
I think it was probably in the same. It was on Variety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally uncredited.
Dang.
Isn't that weird?
That is wild.
Disrespecting it.
Yeah, definitely.
He's the glue.
And then, of course, he wasn't in the Infinity War poster.
He wasn't even in Infinity War.
That's fair. He wasn't in Infinity War. That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, he's in the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting his day.
He is getting his day. But I like this idea for these small, contained stories that are like 6 episodes each. And I hope they don't even do more. I hope that's it.
I hear it's 6 to 8. Depending on the series.
I hope that's it.
Yes.
I hope they don't do like another season. I hope it's just that.
And the budget for each episode is apparently significantly higher than anything that has been on TV before.
Good. So they're like small little movies, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like that.
And I think, honestly, first of all, I love that they're getting the same cast to be carried over.
For sure.
And I also love that it's being like in a series format. Because just the nature of comic books, I feel like superhero stories have the potential to work much better in the form of television.
Yeah.
I don't think there has been any shining example of something that has been like exceptional where I enjoy it as much as the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like Daredevil.
Me too.
But I don't think it's better than anything in the MCU.
Yeah.
But I feel like these shows have the potential to be.
I think so too. And they're important characters too. They're not throwaway characters, and I think that's not to be overlooked because these are like very like movers and shakers in the MCU.
Yeah, for sure. And we mentioned X-Men potentially the speculation of them being introduced through Disney Plus and then making the transition to film. Hawkeye training Kate Bishop. If he's training her, maybe like she continues that series, but like also potential she makes her way into the films.
I think that's pretty likely. I would like to. And another example of the Young Avengers.
Yes, because she is actually a member of the Young Avengers. And interesting to see them plant the seeds there.
Yeah, they are.
It would be cool.
Spider-Man heading that up. The new Tony Stark.
That'd be something.
Trained by Tony Stark himself.
I'm very fascinated to see where this goes.
He really hasn't been trained by Tony Stark at all to date. And if this ends up being Tony Stark's last movie, then who knows?
Well, he's his mentor.
Yeah, but like he's not like
he's not
by
one-on-one.
no means Tony Stark.
Yeah. You're right.
So, honestly, I feel like it'd be an interesting take to have her be the leader, Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she's like from what I know of her character, she's fully capable of doing that.
Very cool.
Hawkeye, as we saw in Age of Ultron, he is what holds that team together.
Yeah.
He wasn't in Infinity War.
No.
They lost.
Sure did.
Correlation, I think so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited for that show.
Yeah, me too.
Are you in on Disney Plus?
I think I'll get it.
Yeah, I'm in day one.
Do you know when it is?
Maybe this summer. I think they're actually demoing it today.
Oh.
I feel like it's for sure gonna ride the coattails of Endgame.
Yeah. If I can get every single MCU movie, I'm not sure if that's true. and like a majority of the Disney animated movies.
Yeah,
Then
that's.
I'm
I
in.
think that is definitely happening.
Then I'm
And
in.
then, not Marvel related, but they also announced they're doing a series called Monsters at Work, based on Monsters Inc.
Very cool.
And
No, Siri.
no, go away.
Did it actually just say that?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That's wild.
AI's taking over.
Well, I think I said series, so I think that might have
Series.
rang the little chime in
Okay.
there.
That's
But
pretty good.
That's crazy, man. I want to put a piece of paper over my laptop computer now, or my laptop camera now.
Oh, I do that. I definitely do that.
um,
Monsters Inc. though.
yeah, Monsters Inc. So I'm interested to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a wrap for news, though. That's
Can I share one last piece of news I just found?
what's up.
Sometimes I browse Marvel Internet when I'm over here.
Let's hear it.
You can now buy replica Infinity Stones that like light up.
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh.
I don't know why that. Yeah,
We'll have to look into
that's
that.
it for news.
All right. So when we come back, speaking of Thor, Jeremy Renner and Thor,
Mm-hmm.
Thor Ragnarok is what we are reviewing on this day. So, going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will be talking all about Thor Ragnarok, where it ranks for us, and what we think of it. Don't go anywhere.
You ready for another bout?
What, you getting sleepy?
Welcome back to the show. We are now going to discuss Thor Ragnarok in great detail. I want to open with a bold claim.
Do it.
It's Thor's Day, bros.
It is Thor's Day.
Oh, we're recording on Thursday. Yeah, you're right.
That is not the claim.
I just
but
sounded like PewDiePie. Sorry, I'm interrupting your claim.
I'm going to say this is the most rewatchable Marvel film.
Ooh, it's up there. It's definitely up there.
I saw this movie for the first time last April
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't see it in theaters. I missed it.
Oh, you missed it.
Yeah, I did because nobody wanted to go see it with me. And that was
Really?
before I started going to movies by myself.
Oh, you got tangent. You got to go to movies by yourself.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It is so good.
It's absolutely the best.
The first time I did that was for Last Jedi for my second showing.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this is perfect.
Oh, I
I'm gonna
love
do this as much as I can.
I love it.
Yeah, so I saw it on my birthday last year, and then so a full year has passed. I think I've seen this movie like 7 or 8 times
Yeah.
within a year.
I've seen this movie a lot too. You
Yeah.
might be right. This might be the most rewatchable one.
I think it's the one I've watched the most since the first Guardians.
Ooh.
Like thinking about maybe Civil War, I might have seen a
I've seen
bunch
Civil War probably the most.
because
thinking
Civil
about
War
it.
was on Netflix for a while.
Yeah.
But like Thor Ragnarok's on Netflix now.
Oof.
I have watched Thor. Last night when I watched it, that was the 4th time I watched it this year
Wow.
because I watched it with my girlfriend. I watched it because I was just bored
Yeah.
one week at school. I was like, yeah, I haven't watched a movie in a while. This was before we even started the show. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna throw Thor on,
Yeah. Thor it's just easy to watch.
and it's still entertaining every time.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's light. That's how I would
It
describe
is.
it. It's
I've
light
seen
viewing.
it. I've seen it. I think like not even exaggerating 7 times in
Wow.
the last year.
Yeah.
Just because there's been those random afternoons.
Yeah,
And then
definitely.
I want to show it to all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
hmm I'll also have another follow up, an alley oop, if you will.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Thor's arc in this movie is one of the best character arcs in the entire MCU, including characters having sequels.
I see.
I feel like Thor has grown more in this one movie than some people have in like 2 or 3.
Right. And to play devil's advocate with that, so this movie grew on me
Mm-hmm.
more and more
Okay.
as a year or 2 went on. My main issue with this is there's a dichotomy. I like foolish Thor because he's a fool in this, and I think
Mhm.
it's fun. But it's also like a little much.
Okay.
Because I prefer the tonal shift this movie takes compared to the first 2 Thors,
Mm-hmm.
because that was like very Shakespearean. I just didn't like that. But I think it's just a little too like
Irreverent.
irreverent. I mean, yeah, it's a little too irreverent, and it's very slapstick.
Okay.
It's very Three Stooges-esque, I would say, with like the comedy,
Okay.
which is fine. But
Uh-huh.
and I like that, but I think it just might be a little too much for some people.
Okay.
Um,
It's funny you say that though, because as somebody who loved the first Thor
mhm.
and can tolerate Thor: The Dark
Can
World
tolerate,
more than most people can,
Yeah.
I don't think it's terrible or bad. I thought I was not gonna like Ragnarok
Yeah.
because going in, I was like, oh, they're doing this new direction. I wasn't against it, but I was like, I'm not sure. And then I didn't want to go alone, but also I was like, I don't feel like I need to see this right now
Mm.
because they're doing a weird thing with Thor. And I was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this more. I don't know. It's a better movie, I'd say, than both Thor movies.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, like I like Thor's character in the first movie. I like Thor a lot in Dark World.
Yeah.
But him in this is, like you said, kind of a reimagining Rebirth.
It is, and I guess that makes sense that he has another arc because in the first movie, I like his arc in the first movie.
Yeah, me
actually
too.
a lot, because he starts as this kind of narcissistic guy who's about to take over the role of king, and then loses his powers, and like he really needs to like reimagine himself and kind of become more humble.
Yeah.
And he goes about that in that movie into the Avengers, and by not into darkness, the Dark World, he is like much more like even keel and like much more easy to
Yeah,
be
he's
around.
showing up in like robes and stuff.
And in this movie, it is interesting because it's like an entirely new character
Yeah.
played by the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little, for me when I first saw it, it was a little jarring.
I'll agree with you with that, because the first time I watched it, and it was the introduction, which I love the intro to this movie so much. Thor is just narrating it, and then it's revealed that he's just talking to some skeleton.
Yeah.
And it's kind of catching you up on like the parts of Ultron that were like kind of not great, of him like going crazy and like seeing everything and having these visions of Ragnarok and trying to find the Infinity Stones. So it's kind of like just sweeping that under the rug, being like, yeah, that was kind of dumb, but like I'm here now.
Right.
And I guess his attitude there, and then like him dropping down and like having that back and forth with Surtur, I was like, I like this, but this is weird. It's strange.
It's funny because that opening scene, this is what I wrote down when I was watching it. I think that opening scene makes fun of the old Thor movies.
Definitely.
Because that, I don't know the name of the big baddie in that right there. Do you remember?
Surtur?
Yeah. That would have been the main villain.
Yeah.
If those two Thor movies, if the tone of those two Thor movies continued on,
Yeah.
that would have been the main villain, and it would have sucked because like he's dumb, and they clearly make fun of that in this scene, and there's like, no, he's not the main villain. Yes, he's big and powerful, but like he's a dumb villain, and he's not like impactful.
And they really introduce you to the humor of this film and the humor of Taika Waititi by the slow
Spinning.
revolving spinning.
Yeah.
And the really like just the long pause while he's turned around like
Right.
in real time pretty much.
Yep.
Which I think is funny. I think it's like very funny. And yeah, that is a good introduction. The Immigrant Song plays.
Oh yeah, gotta love the soundtrack in this movie, or at least the Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I think the main theme too is good.
Oh, yeah,
like
I
that
think
like shredding guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Green screen is not great there and
Yeah.
in most of this movie.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is one of the standouts of like, ooh,
Yeah, there's some.
you're on a set right now.
Yeah, there's some not good ones.
And yeah, then we are introduced to Thor coming back to Asgard.
Shout out, MF. Shout out to Matt Damon.
Yeah.
God bless.
Again, the
Who was
first
the other actor in that?
Oh, I knew this.
was he from Lost?
No, I would know that. I'm
Okay.
currently rewatching Lost. No podcast available for that, but I don't. I'm gonna look that up because.
I'll look it up.
Oh,
right
you look
now,
it up, Pat. Yeah.
Also, who played Odin? Because I feel like I know him. It's not Sean Connery, but that's the vibe I got from
Oh,
him.
he. I want to say it's not, but he reminded me of Saul from Battlestar Galactica, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I love that reintroduction to Asgard.
Mm-hmm.
I love how ridiculous it is.
That's so ridiculous.
Um,
Again, I think making fun of the Shakespearean-esque. Because
Yeah.
they're literally putting on a Shakespeare play.
yeah,
So I think they're kind of
The
making fun
choir,
of that.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
the shot like when they cut to the choir and then they do the
Mhm.
that is so funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That got me so hard the
Yeah.
first time. That was very funny. And then
Okay.
yeah,
So Chris Hemsworth, I didn't even realize this until now, but his brother Luke Hemsworth
Yeah.
is this. He's like the leading one of the actors in Westworld,
oh yeah,
and he played Thor. In the
Okay.
I thought it was
play.
a Hemsworth.
Yeah.
that's
But
that's
I only
funny.
know of Liam and Chris. So
Yeah.
There's another.
They don't
Luke.
look like he doesn't look like him though,
Okay.
because like Liam and Chris
Chris.
look very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Luke does not.
Sorry, Luke.
So
So
and yeah,
close.
the first time I saw it, I didn't realize it was Matt Damon. Like I was like, is that Matt
Oh,
Damon?
yeah.
It looks a lot like Matt Damon.
I remember freaking out. And Matt Damon is just known for not being leads in movies anymore, just showing up randomly without being announced.
Yeah.
Like in Interstellar, he just kind of showed up. It's like, huh, that's Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And like you're supposed to think, huh, that's Matt Damon.
That's
Not-
that's what I thought.
It's not even, hey, that's Matt Damon playing an actor. It's like, oh no, that is Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Literally Matt Damon.
Yeah, it's real good.
Pretty good.
So yeah, what other, like, one of the main focuses of this film is Sakaar.
Yeah.
With the Grandmaster.
Sure.
And that takes up a big chunk of this movie.
Yeah, it's like the majority, I would say.
Yeah, and I feel like it's weird because for as much as I like Ragnarok, there is a weird balance, a dichotomy, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
where the stuff in Sakaar is really entertaining. The relationship between Thor, Loki, and Odin, I really like.
I do too.
For the very little amount that it's here, I really like it. I think it's very strong. But the stuff with Hela, that's one of my complaints with this movie.
You don't like Hela?
It's not that I don't like Hela. It's that I feel like they wasted Kate Blanchett.
How so?
I feel like she's so underutilized. Especially
like you
if
don't see her enough?
if this is how it ends up. I'm just her being like an emo queen, which like no problem with that.
Right.
But yeah, if like I feels like she didn't have any impact on anything.
Yeah, I can see that. Because, yeah, more focus is on Sakaar.
Yeah, it's like two storylines going on at the same time.
And it is, the tone of it is pretty different.
Drastically
too.
different, yeah.
Because you have like the very dark and sinister part with Hela.
Yeah, and there's like this. You get like Carl Urban's character for some like levity there, but like there's no, like the rest of the movie is so bonkers.
Yeah.
That
It's
like
insane.
there's nobody to bounce off of her with
Yeah.
that same type of tone, you know?
Right. I mean, I haven't seen, this is my fault. I want to see more, but I haven't seen any other Taika Waititi movies. So I feel like
What We Do in the Shadows, shout out.
I feel like her character doesn't fit in with the humor of Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
It's a
like
little weird.
there's a few moments with her that I thought were funny, like her introduction I like. The Infinity Gauntlet joke.
Yeah.
Again, kind of
Fake.
making fun of the previous Thor movies.
Right.
Like I like that stuff, and I feel like there was so much potential that for her as a villain, she could have been like really, really charming and super sinister, but like she was hamming it up. She clearly had fun with it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have an issue with the character, just more so like what her involvement in the story was.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish she had more of a hand in some of the things. There's like probably like 4 minutes of screen time between her and Thor.
Yeah, there's not that
There's
much.
not a lot.
Because Thor shows up with her in her introduction. Then Thor and Loki go off to Sakaar for like the rest of the movie,
Yeah,
and then show up in like the very end.
right.
By the way, can I chime in for a second? I didn't realize Thor Ragnarok was like a Jurassic Park sequel because it has Sam Neill played Odin in that scene.
That's
too.
who it was. Okay.
So they had Goldblum and Sam Neill.
That's
who
great.
it was.
That's crazy, man.
That's really funny.
fascinating.
Dang.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's really funny. So yeah, Sakaar is. We should probably transition into that.
Yeah,
because
let's
that's
do
the chunk of this movie.
Right.
Hilarious.
I love it. Big shout out to Korg, my favorite in
Korg.
this movie. Peace off, Ghost. He's freaking gone.
Yeah, Korg is good. Korg
That
is
was really good. That sounded really good on the headphones.
Thanks.
And if you're not aware, Korg portrayed by none other than Taika Waititi himself.
Hey, my name's Korg. It's a pile of rocks.
Thing vibes. He calls himself a thing too when he's introduced.
Oh.
He's like, which I
I'm a
think was
thing.
probably intentional.
I'm a being.
I think that was probably intentional.
He's so funny.
He's really funny. And again, yeah, he just fits in. And I feel like a lot of directors sometimes when they try to implement themselves into the film, it doesn't work. Flawless.
So the hammer flew off.
Yeah.
I just can't with him. He's hilarious.
He's real good. Korg is great. Tessa Thompson.
Yeah.
Valkyrie.
Here's my-
Fantastic.
Yeah, she's awesome. Here's my question about Valkyrie. So she is a Valkyrie,
Yeah.
but her name is also Valkyrie?
I guess.
What? Why?
I don't know. Maybe like maybe it's like an extreme religious sort of thing. Like,
And they're all Valkyrie.
if you commit, you commit. It's like, forget your past self. Your existence is to protect the throne.
Maybe that's like a title.
Yeah.
perhaps like priest. Everyone just calls you priest.
Yeah.
Father, or like father.
Yeah, and then like when she's introduced on Sakaar, it's just Scrapper and then her number.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's just what she's used to. She doesn't have her own identity.
And according to Endgame
Mhm.
posters that we talked about, she's dead, right? Oh, she's not dead.
She's alive and
alive.
she's in this
Yeah.
one. So,
Big time.
She's gonna show up. She's
Oh,
on.
yeah.
She's on any like the promotional posters alive from the one where it said
Yeah,
that
that
she's
one.
alive. She's gonna show up when they least expect
That's
her.
so cool, actually.
mhm.
I thought it was the other way around.
Oh no,
Okay.
she's alive and kicking
Awesome.
right beside Korg.
I like that.
Because I'm pretty sure the Russos said that. We'll get to the end scene,
Yeah.
but they're doing well right now.
Some made it.
Yeah. So, also, yeah, closing out on that, Tessa Thompson refers to her as Val on Twitter.
Okay.
So maybe she introduces herself as Val.
Here's a question that I don't know if someone answered this
Mm-hmm.
about this film. Where's Lady Sif?
Okay, I thought of this last night too.
Yeah.
Because
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. So Sif appeared on a handful of episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if that like just
Why?
dealt with her fate. Like, is she
Why?
dead? I don't know.
I don't know. Why is she there? That's so weird.
Because you're right, it's very strange. Because they give,
I feel like that's such a grounded show.
because they give the Axe guy and they give Zach Levi
Yeah, they're
death,
Total dead.
and then
real quick too.
and then Thor's other, I forget, I don't know any of their names. Which again,
Yeah, I've there exactly.
like Sif is the standout because Sif was the coolest.
Yeah,
All of the Warriors 3, they die.
yeah. Hela kills one of them.
Sif, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah.
So
Who knows?
She might show up with Val. For all we know, that's probably not gonna happen.
No,
but, yeah.
I feel like she's done.
Probably.
But, like, could very likely.
maybe there was a
mean,
falling
maybe.
out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna read into that.
Yeah,
And
because I thought of that too. I was like,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think it was at the end. I was like, yeah. So like, where is she?
Yeah.
Oh
well.
Yeah. So Sakaar, we get there. We get the Grandmaster, Jeff
Mhm.
Goldblum. Shout out.
Hell yeah.
I love his introduction. Again, this movie's so light. My biggest issue is the fact that it does feel like two movies at once, and they don't mesh super well until the end.
Right.
And yeah, that's like one of my biggest complaints. Because the thing is, everything on Sakaar is so tight and it's so funny and it feels so natural. But when they keep cutting back to Asgard, like I like Idris Elba a lot, and I like Heimdall's character, especially in this movie, and I like how like devout he's been in the series so far.
Right.
So seeing him go rogue is awesome.
Yeah.
Not enough of that.
No. They are two different movies. I prefer the Taika Waititi-esque-ness
Yeah.
of the other storyline.
Crazy colors,
Yeah.
crazy characters.
I like that a lot. Also, big shout out to the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, that's a good
Really
one.
funny.
So yeah, Grandmaster's cool. Again, he's not really a villain. He's just kind of a terrible person.
Yeah.
Uh,
On any other world, I'd be over 1 million years old, but here,
that is the funniest joke in the MCU.
I think Kind of Funny talked about this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he just like didn't learn the line for that, or like he just forgot his line. And he's just, but here,
He just makes a face.
for like 5 seconds, and then I'm like, okay.
A lot of some good reactions too, because the thing is, I feel like Thor, as he progresses, I mentioned earlier, I love his character arc in this because he sort of goes through a rebirth. I feel like he kind of goes crazy for a little bit, like while he's being introduced to Sakaar. Because the thing is, when he's introduced at the start of Thor Ragnarok, he still kind of has that carryover of the first two Thor movies. You know, like he's still kind of serious. He's making some jokes, but like he's still like hefty. I'm angry sometimes, stuff like that. And then his face, and like Chris Hemsworth does such a good job making so many of the scenes and jokes land because of his reactions.
He's surprisingly a good comedic actor with his timing, I think.
He's real good.
Yeah. Also, a lot of this movie is improv, right?
I think so, yeah.
I remember reading that before the movie came out. I was like, oh, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
By the way, I found out it's kind of anticlimactic, but
Lady
I found out what happens to Sif.
Let's do it.
She was filming a movie in Australia,
Oh.
and they were like, "Hey, they asked her, they were like, can you do it?" She was like, "Yeah." She thought she'd get more notice, and then she didn't get enough notice, so She just wasn't a character.
So I guess she's still alive.
I thought you were gonna say she was filming in Australia and died, like the actual actress.
Oh,
Like, Jamie
well,
Alexander.
Damn, man.
Jamie Alexander, I thought would have been a great Wonder Woman.
She was one of the fan casts for a while.
I like
I
that.
remember that. Sif was almost on audition.
Fair enough.
A lot of people cited that. I remember when they were like, "Oh, we need our Wonder Woman." They were like, "Look at this picture of her in Thor. She looks
yeah.
just like her."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh well.
But the Sakaar stuff is great. Hulk.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about Hulk.
I love weird pairings, and I feel like you can't get much more weird than Thor and Hulk
I bet
And
you can.
Banner.
and Banner. Yeah.
You can. It's
Oh yeah.
Thor in a nude scene. Or Hulk in a nude
I'll
scene.
take that.
Hulk.
Oh yeah.
I butchered that one.
What are you thinking about, Pat?
Yeah. What are you thinking about over there, Pat?
I literally watched the movie before I came here, and it's like just the fact that Hulk is naked in the movie to me is so bizarre.
Hey, someone had to animate it.
Someone had to animate it.
Someone knows what that thing looks like. But I don't know. I feel like in the comics I know that there's that pairing. The fight between those two is like pretty popular, I feel. But I don't know, seeing Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo together, it just seems weird to me, and I love it.
Yeah, it works so well.
It does. It works so well.
And I forget who I was talking to about this recently. They had an issue with the way Banner works because they feel like it's a total departure of his character. I don't necessarily agree with that because, again, a lot of this movie, especially on Sakaar, the introduction to Sakaar for these characters, they just pretty much go insane.
Yeah.
And then they even out a little bit. But, like, because, yeah, technically Banner's been on Sakaar for 2 years of Earth time, which who knows how long that was on Sakaar, you know?
Yeah.
So Banner, like, fully realizing he's there finally, just that, like, pretty much culture shock on a universal scale.
Yeah. I'm on another planet.
Yeah.
So you've been on one before? Yeah, one.
Yeah, it's I think it works because he goes crazy, but, like, he sort of adjusts to it, you know? He gets a sense of confidence that I feel like Banner probably needed. And yeah, I'm excited to see where the Hulk goes in the future.
Yeah.
Because I think this movie primes interesting directions for the Hulk.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you that I wrote down.
Okay.
Do you think Hulk, could he carry his own film
No.
now? No? Still?
I already knew you were going to ask that question.
Still don't think so?
No, I don't think people would see that. I mean, they would. I mean, MCU nowadays can sell anything and
Yeah.
people go see it. I don't think we're going to get a Hulk movie anytime soon.
I would love to see it. Well, the thing is with that, there's Universal technically owns part of the Hulk, so, like,
I think, yeah, that's
they
a big
can't.
reason.
They don't want to play as nice as Sony, I guess, because Universal takes a cut of it and weird licensing things.
Right.
So, logistically, I don't know if it's possible. I'd really like to see it.
I think I would too, because I feel like that is a character that could really have an interesting story, but I feel like it's already been done.
I feel like you could do interesting things with it, though, where it's like Banner struggling, or maybe just do a full Planet Hulk thing.
Yeah.
Because Planet Hulk did have some DNA in this. He's the gladiator here. He's the champion of this world.
Right.
But yeah, also follow-up question. Do you want to see the Revengers team up again?
The Revengers?
Yeah.
With Korg and...
Like Korg, Valkyrie, Thor, Hulk, Loki.
Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Sure.
that was the line.
I like it.
Because they say they have a team, and she's like, what do we call?
Right, yeah.
Do you want a little revenge? I don't know.
Yeah, I love Banner's reaction too. There, he's like, I'm undecided. Yeah, and again, we talked about in the past Marvel just taking a genre and running with it. Again, another example. This is a comedy.
Oh, this is definitely a comedy.
This is just a comedy with some sci-fi or science fantasy elements, I'd say.
Speaking of genre,
Yeah.
there's a character from a particular genre that we might see in this movie, Doctor Strange,
Oh yeah.
who may be in a horror Doctor Strange movie at some point or another.
Would love that.
What do we think of his inclusion here?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because I feel like it's still consistent with the way he was shown in Doctor Strange, because
I
he's
think so,
still
too.
he's still like very cold and like calculated, and is like, these are the rules, or no, these are my rules.
Yeah.
You know, like, because he doesn't play by rules, he plays by his own rules.
Right, exactly.
But he's like iron code with those rules,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how he's dealing with everything. Very professional. Again, fun seeing Chris Hemsworth bounce off that, seeing his reactions to those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the comedy in that scene too.
Mm-hmm.
Him falling down the stairs I thought was funny, and getting Mjolnir.
The umbrella.
The umbrella. Like you can hear like it crashing on multiple things like along the way. He's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And look, of course Loki. I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Yeah, Loki's great in this movie too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I wrote down another question.
Yeah.
In your eyes, is Loki redeemed?
It's a wonderful question. As a human being on Earth, no. Because he prompted another 9/11-esque attack.
Essentially, yeah.
Pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
imagine the death and destruction. We never got numbers, I don't think.
No.
But just seeing the destruction of that and literally, like, bringing
A
another...
lot of people died.
Yeah. A lot of people must have died from
Yeah.
that. Buildings were, like, leveled. Like, there's a lot of destruction to that. No, I don't think he's redeemed for me.
Yeah, he's an ass.
Yeah, like, he's evil.
He's a pretty bad dude.
I think he's evil.
I'm going to say he is.
He's redeemed?
Go with me.
Okay.
I
I think there's a case.
First off, I think you have to compare it to other characters who have been redeemed. Bucky. Bucky didn't have agency over a lot of his choices,
Right.
but he still executed a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Ava, recently we just talked about on Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar. She had her choice. She was doing it to heal her, but she still killed a lot of people.
Sure.
I believe the line in the Avengers is Loki killed 80 people in 2 days, right? I think you have to take into account.
well,
Only 80 people died in that attack?
No, like before.
that was before, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
leading up to it, so he could get that to happen.
Okay.
But then you also, like, Ghost killed a lot of people, but she killed people for S.H.I.E.L.D., who are the so-called, like, she was a weapon of S.H.I.E.L.D., if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right, but as we found out, S.H.I.E.L.D. was pretty much just Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Like, you didn't know who gave those orders, you know?
that's true.
And then, I'll say this. I feel like it might be a little different for Loki because he's not a soldier. He's like a god. And gods can go back and forth on being benevolent or evil,
Yeah.
you know? So, grand scheme of things,
I guess, yeah. Grand
if
scheme
this
of
guy
things.
is like 1,500 years old,
Right.
and he's killed like maybe 150 to 200 innocent people in his life,
Sure.
and now he's not anymore. He wants to like be a leader. He did his time for a little while.
Yeah.
We see he like the other 9 realms are in chaos pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
We hear reference to, but Asgard's doing pretty good
Right.
under Loki's rule.
Yeah, Loki is just one of those characters that just goes back and forth.
Yeah.
I think, like, realistically, he's not redeemed.
Okay.
Because, like, he killed all those innocent people.
I don't
But
think so either, but I still love him. Can I
Yeah.
can I pose a hypothetical
Yeah,
for
what's
you,
up?
Christian? Is Odin redeemed?
Yeah.
Good point. Tom.
Yeah.
See, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
he's
saying from the
I
definitely
thought
god
you would
standpoint.
think about it
Yeah,
more,
he's
but
he's definitely redeemed.
You have to think of it from the perspective of them being gods and what you know about like literature of gods of
Right.
like, oh yeah, Zeus like did a lot of nasty things to some women.
Is he redeemed, or is it more normalized that he just is the leader now?
Who, Loki?
No,
Odin?
Odin, yeah.
I don't know, because that's a question that's brought up in the more serious parts of this movie
he
where
did some North Korea stuff, man. He like
Yeah, he did some terrible things.
blood and tears, and then he just put over like a painting of him and Thor, like peace among societies. Like
I wanted to make a comment on this. At the end of the movie when Thor's looking at the crumbled mural, Thor's painting looks just like Jesus. Like I saw that, I was like, that's Jesus. Like the halo and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. Interesting conversation.
Yeah. I have a note here.
What's up?
I just wrote in all caps, body. Chris Hemsworth, man. Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Just,
Good work.
yeah. God.
I actually like started working out with this app that he made.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It sucks,
Chris-
man. he there's a reason he's in such good shape because nobody can do what he's doing right now.
He has an app that, like, tells you what to do.
Yeah.
It's like a whole program, like meal plans and stuff.
Oof.
Yeah, I thought about downloading it.
How many calories you got to do? a day?
I don't follow the meal plan because I don't have enough food.
Yeah, I don't think I don't eat enough.
I
food.
can't afford food.
I had
We're all called dumb college students.
I strained out ramen noodles and made spaghetti out of them for dinner last night. So there's no way I'm gonna have kale on hand.
That sounds about right. I'm with you on that one.
I know we're not talking a ton about specifics of Thor Ragnarok. Because again, I feel like it is super light, and a lot of this is just the situations.
Yes, this is very situational humor too.
And that's why I have my issues with it, because for the moments that are serious, doesn't mesh super well, stands out. There were, honestly, I've seen this movie so many times where it was like, there were points where I was like, it's going to be bad if I just fast forward through this hella stuff. I didn't, but I was tempted to.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say we sound more negative than we are, I feel.
Oh, I don't even feel like I'm sounding negative right now.
Yeah. I think we're more critical, I will
Okay.
say, than we have been maybe in movies in the past.
Yeah, well, like,
I really like this movie.
for example, take last week's episode, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I basically said no bad thing about that movie.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite by any stretch, but I think I had less gripes with it because it all felt consistent.
Right.
It all felt like it was happening in the same sort of tone, same pacing, like good pacing.
Yeah.
And with Ragnarok, which I think is a better movie than Ant-Man and the Wasp, and is better than, I'd say, 80% of the MCU. The reservations I do have are the fact that the tone is different, and that messes with the pace of everything.
I think that's an issue that a lot of people have with this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people love this movie.
Yeah. It's my girlfriend's favorite, number one.
Yeah, a lot of people love this as their number one, which I get, because it is very light and it's easy to digest. But a lot of people had the issue of it being a totally different tone than what we're used to with Thor, which makes sense.
And I don't really mind, because it kind of, for me, at least from my perspective, it sort of gave Chris Hemsworth a reignited love of being Thor.
Me too.
Because you see him in interviews now, and he's like so happy about it.
Yeah.
I saw an interview of him and Ellen from a couple days ago, and I think she asked him do you like being Thor, and would he come back, stuff like that. And he was like, oh well, my brother in these films has died 7 times and come back.
Yeah.
And people are running with that theory.
Oh, okay.
Since he said that. But the question was posed to him of like, would you come back to be Thor again? And he said, these movies are the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Oh, awesome.
So it's good to hear that.
Yeah.
And then he said he would love to come back as long as they want him.
Very cool.
So, question for you. Do you think we get a Thor 4? Or a Thor Ragnarok 2, perhaps?
Can we assume that he maybe survives?
Yeah, assuming he survives. And he was being cagey about it too. He
Yeah.
was giving the dodgy little press answers about I don't know.
I think maybe. Personally, I think the Phase 1 people are in a dire situation here, and that's
Okay.
all I'll say. But assuming they do survive Avengers Endgame, yeah, I think he's going to be one of those characters that passes the torch, passes the hammer, perhaps, or an axe.
The
at this point.
Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
It does make me nervous that they got tattoos.
I don't know if he was one of them that got tattoos.
He was.
He was? Okay.
He was.
Well, I mean, the Suicide Squad got tattoos. So,
Squad.
that could mean anything. Squad with K.
Stupid.
So for the longest time, I think probably since they announced Infinity War, I was saying that after the fact, Thor is the only one from the original 6 that is gonna keep going with movies. Because I feel like, especially after Ragnarok, he's sort of primed. They have a new creative team that likes that character in that world a lot.
Yeah.
So I bet Taika has a ton he wants to explore with that character.
Oh yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, again, has a reignited love for it. They have pretty much a new ensemble cast for that movie series.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you have so much to explore with Thor rebuilding Asgard, him being an actual king now. I feel like there's a lot there, which could be very interesting.
You also have to pay attention to the little connection that we've seen in trailers between him and Captain Marvel. Not much is said between the two, but I feel like there's a good chemistry there of them both being incredibly strong.
People have run with that already.
Shipping them.
And I think the Russos said that they originally intended to write a relationship between them. Didn't pan out, but
Oh, I mean like along the lines of like them both being from space and being
yeah,
super
yeah.
strong.
Cosmic power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there is shipping going on though.
And going on with a cosmic power idea, I can imagine seeing Thor with the Guardians, with the Eternals.
Yeah, like I think Thor is going to be the one out of the originals that does stick around the longest.
Yeah, which is weird because I would have never thought that after this or before this movie.
Yeah, and
Because to me he was pretty insignificant.
Yeah, and it's funny hearing you say that because Thor has always been my favorite Avenger.
Really?
Always.
In the MCU, you mean? Or just like in comics as well?
So I hadn't read enough Avengers comics, and the team changes so much.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I could say that because like Spider-Man's my favorite superhero.
Oh yeah.
So like Spider-Man has been an Avenger before, so like technically, but yeah, out of the MCU, Thor has always been my favorite Avenger. I think Captain America has the best movies, and Chris Evans is the best actor out of all of them.
I would agree.
And Robert Downey Jr. obviously has the charm. He's great. He's the one who
Sure
started
does.
it all.
Yeah.
But I've always had the soft spot for Thor
Mhm.
because I love that mythology. I love the places they go in those movies, and I just want more of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's potential because, again, Ragnarok was so light. It was very successful. It reignited interest in this character on several different levels. So, I feel like there's that recognition there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, say we don't get an Iron Man 4, we don't get a Captain America 4, Black Widow is getting her movie.
Right.
But be like, oh, new Thor movie. The Avengers are still going on.
I could see it.
Might be an interesting way to continue it.
I would like that a lot.
Me too. Is there anything else specifically about Ragnarok you want to discuss?
Nothing that I don't. Well, the end. You want to talk about the end?
Yeah, we should talk about the ending.
I got beef with the ending.
What's up?
Do you?
Yeah, I forget what that guy's name is. The dude who has the bald guy, Scourge.
I think.
That like, he did not have that much ammo.
Yeah,
That was ridiculous.
I was also thinking of that.
This dude was straight up shooting a minigun. Like he took
Yeah.
down like a cliff that held through into the spaceship with
Mhm.
two M16s. I got beef with that. Other than that, I got no beef.
Yeah,
with
that was
the
a little
movie.
silly, for sure.
I have a question too.
Okay.
So there's that scene after she slices his eye, where she like has him in a death grip.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
What do you think out of?
yeah. And then he goes into the vision state,
And she says it
and
again.
then it cuts back and she says it again.
Yeah, that was a little much.
Why?
I think she shouldn't have said it the first time. Then he goes back in the vision.
So, like, what are we talking here? Is it like the vision just happens like within an instant and like time stops, or
Yeah, I don't think.
are
it
they
happened
like
twice.
rewinding back to before she said it the first time,
I
and then that's when the vision happened?
I think it's a second thing.
So she just says it twice.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Oh, you think it's?
I always thought it was that way.
I thought it was like he had the vision, and then it just.
So she
kinda
was holding him there the whole time.
No, so I think she like
the vision.
like
just
she
happened.
grabs him, and then like you see him like start doing like an eye thing,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "What were you the god of again?" And then it's like the bum bum bum, and
Yeah.
it's like the conversation between him and Odin. So and then it cuts back, and she's like, "Tell me, brother, what were you the god of again?"
Right.
So what I'm saying is, it's like two things happening at the same time, but like the vision is like in his head, and it happens like within milliseconds.
Yeah.
So we see what like Thor's perspective of that situation was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it cuts back to when that whole death grip started.
It's just really weird editing.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. They must. They must have taken a while on that one. Be like, I don't know what to do here. But that's fine. Because it is weird.
They should have just cut back, and she was like, "Well,
Tell me. I've been standing here for 30 seconds.
yeah." That just reminded me too. Weird that she looks just like Loki, and Loki was adopted. So Thor is the odd one out here.
Yeah. What's going
Like
on?
same
there?
colors, same hair, same vibe.
This is some Game of Thrones business.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
get it.
You can't have a blonde goddess of death. I feel like that just.
Yeah.
But like,
that's-
why does she have to wear green? Loki's green.
It's a good color, man. It looks good on her.
I mean, green's my favorite color. You don't have to tell me twice, but like,
I don't like her crown.
It's a little strange.
It's,
isn't it?
it's a little
like
much.
the antlers.
The old.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why you got to take the time to put that on?
Yeah, it's
Like she can't go through doors. Are you kidding me?
No,
Well,
yeah,
that's why she
doors
just
are.
has to go like swipe her hair, and then it turns into it.
I actually wish I could do that with a hat. That'd be so convenient.
Yeah.
Just not one that looks
Oh, it's
as
raining.
ridiculous.
Whoop. But But yeah, I think the movie's good.
Yeah.
CG's fine there. I feel like there was no standout like bad things in that part of the movie.
Right.
The Hulk stuff's cool. He kind of just disappears for like 6 minutes.
Yeah. Fighting the wolf.
Yeah, he like hangs on that cliff for like the entirety of the end of the confrontation with
Right.
Hela, and then he just pops up again to knock down Surtur.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I feel like the only criticism I can give this movie is the parts that don't mesh,
Yeah,
because
me too.
everything else is so light, and it works the way it is.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't feel out of place. It feels good. So yeah, I enjoy this movie.
Me too. You want to rank it?
Yes, I do.
Cool.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, you do, Pat. You told me this. So do you want to list yours first?
Yeah. I'm not even going to read my whole list because I've said my list a million times. Just Thor Ragnarok is at the top of it.
There it is.
I appreciate humor in movies more than anything. And that's why Spider-Man and the Guardians movies are so far up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Thor, by far, made me laugh the most.
Is Civil
So-
War so Civil War is your number 2 now?
Civil War is my number 2.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will go next. 20 is Hulk. 19 is The Dark World. 18 is Iron Man 2. 17 is Captain America: The First Avenger. 16 is The Avengers. 15 is Thor. 14 is Doctor Strange. 13 is Iron Man. 12 is Ant-Man. 11 is Iron Man 3. I swapped those two. 10 is Captain Marvel. 9 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. 8 is Civil War. 7 is Age of Ultron. 6 is Guardians of the Galaxy. 5 is Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
4 is Black Panther. 3 is Guardians Volume 2. 2 is Spider-Man. And 1 is Captain America: Winter Soldier.
That's funny. I also have Black Panther directly above Thor Ragnarok.
Interesting.
So yeah, 20 is Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
19 is Thor: The Dark World. 18 is Doctor Strange. 17 is Thor. 16 is Ant-Man. 15 is Iron Man 2. 14 is Iron Man. 13 is Captain America: The First Avenger. 12 is Captain Marvel. 11 is Iron Man 3. 10 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. 9 is The Avengers. 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 7 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. 6 is Thor Ragnarok. 5 is Black Panther. 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy. 3, Spider-Man: Homecoming. 2, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And number 1 is Captain America: Civil War.
Very nice. I had trouble ranking this.
I kind of did.
So
This used to
I
be
did
way
not.
lower on my
yeah,
list.
I bet that was the easiest decision you've had to make this entire
Yeah.
semester.
This used to be mid-tier Marvel, what I call mid-tier
Ooh,
Marvel.
interesting.
For me. Yeah, this would be like tied with Ant-Man and the Wasp for me,
Okay.
like a year ago.
Yeah, this was, ever since I saw it, this was pretty high up for me.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, I struggled so hard because I don't think it's as good as Black Panther.
As a standalone movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a movie in my ranking, I have Black Panther at 4 and Ragnarok at 5. I don't think it's as good as a film as Black Panther is.
I agree.
I think it's better than Guardians 2,
Me too.
but I have an attachment to Guardians 2.
I would.
It made me cry, so I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I would prefer hanging around with the Guardians crew than this crew. I just love the Guardians so much.
I don't know, because I feel like,
Like anything they say can make me laugh.
yeah, I feel like Guardians can, as much as I love them, sometimes like some of the stuff can be annoying.
I see. No, that makes sense.
But like this is just a joy, you know?
Oh yeah,
And then I think it's a better movie than Guardians 2, sorry.
I agree.
And I don't know, like I feel like I could see this go back and forth with Spider-Man, like if I wasn't having personal attachments here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really good movie.
Yeah, definitely.
So next week,
The big one. Well, one of the big
Avengers Infinity War.
God damn, this is getting crazy.
We
guys.
made it to the penultimate episode
Yeah, that's
for the MCU.
wild.
20 movies in.
Yeah.
Jeez. I'll say this. This comes out on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I guested on a podcast called The Snap, which is recapping mostly story and then some opinions about every movie in the MCU. My friend Kayla's doing it, fellow kind of funny best friend.
Oh, hey.
Not my girlfriend Kayla, different Kayla. Kayla with a Y.
Okay.
And yeah, so check that out. I don't know when that's posting, but keep your ear to my Twitter.
Nice.
So, speaking of Twitter, you got Twitter.
I do have a Twitter.
You want to plug it?
Yeah, you can follow me at FascinatedJack on Twitter and Instagram. Also, You can also add me on PlayStation Network at Fascinated Jack because Kazurai and the Sony gods let us change our name finally. Thank you, Shuhei Yoshida. God bless you. Yeah, it used to be Jack M304. Ugh. Stupid 2012 Jack. Regardless, you can follow me at Fascinated Jack on PlayStation, Twitter, Instagram. I have a podcast called The Polygonal Sunrise. It's a video game news briefing every Monday morning. You can find that on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, also on the Amherst Wire.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Pat, what about you?
My Twitter is at the PMoron, and I always feel self-conscious because you guys always have so much stuff to plug. Like, this is all I'm doing.
I mean, I don't sleep, so it's
That's like what I do.
You're producing podcasts.
I'm producing podcasts left and right.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
wire.
On the Wire.
Mm-hmm.
Amherst Wire.
Amherst Wire.
I'll plug Amherst Wire. I'm a podcast producer for Amherst Wire.
There you go.
There you go.
You can follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. If you're watching me, you're on JoyClicks. That is where this video file gets uploaded every Monday morning, sometimes afternoon. We also, Jack and I, have a show called My First Mon where I'm making him play through Pokemon because he's never played a Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun time.
Tweet at Tim Geddes. We want him on the show.
Yeah.
What's your party look like? Just out of
Yeah, give him a little
curiosity.
taste.
Right now, I got Wartortle. He's my
Ooh.
go-to guy.
So he's blazed past. I'm a Squirtle starter too.
Oh, okay.
So
I love
Squad.
Squirtle.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got a little Squirtle. Doug Trio is in there. He's really OP.
Yeah. I imagine.
I have Pikachu. He's getting up there. He's around high 20s. Wigglytuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and Bellsprout.
Very nice.
That's a pretty good party, man.
Yeah.
For someone who's new to the game,
Yeah.
he's putting good people together.
Hey, we're
Yeah.
doing some things here.
Yeah. So I think that wraps it up. Like I said, Infinity War is next week. Also, sorry, you can follow the show on Twitter at Excelsior JC. We're on podcast services, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Shout out to the listeners who have listened from New Zealand,
Hey,
Germany,
Yeah, that's crazy to
Ireland,
see that.
the
Oh,
UK.
Ireland.
We had 3 listeners, and oh wait, you went to Ireland,
I did.
so we got network there.
You think
Let's go.
you think someone I know is listening? Alex
Maybe.
White, are you listening? I don't know.
So that wraps up Thor Ragnarok. And until next time.
Peace off, Ghost.
See you guys in the end game.
It's freaking gone.